Have you ever felt like you're caught in a corporate Groundhog Day? Where the same processes just repeat year after year with this sort of soul-crushing predictability.
Hmm.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into what might be the ultimate example of that, the annual budgeting cycle.
Oh, yeah. The marathon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Spreadsheets, late nights, and often requests so absurd you kind of question reality. We're going to experience this through the eyes of, well, five unsung heroes: Alex, Ben, Chloe, Peter, and Emily. They're the MTH office, the office making things happen at a big global media post-production company.
Right. And we pick up their story in August 2025. They're already bracing themselves for the 2026 budget cycle.
And what sounds like maybe a dry, mundane task, well, it quickly turns into this 4-month odyssey.
Yeah, filled with everything from phantom penny errors that drive you mad,
Right.
to formulas so complex they actually call them dragon's breath.
Okay.
And that dream of real automation, the thing that's supposed to fix all this, it always seems to just vanish when they need it most.
So it's really not just about crunching numbers, is it?
No, not at all.
It sounds like they're immediately up against this fundamental tension. You've got the bottom-up granularity.
Every paperclip accounted for.
Yes.
Theoretically.
Versus the top-down strategic alignment, which I imagine often feels like just a number plucked from thin air to the people on the ground.
Exactly. So for the MTH team, it becomes clear really fast that budgeting isn't just a process they do. It's more like a perpetual state of being.
A Sisyphean task, you called it?
Pretty much. Our mission today is really to unpack why it so often feels like this tale of woes.
What strikes me is even before it officially starts, they're already wrestling with these inherent problems, right?
Oh, absolutely. They know what's coming. These
Right.
tiny errors that can halt everything, this struggle to make the micro details fit the macro directives, it's baked in.
Okay, let's get into the journey itself. The official call goes out September 2nd, 2025. 2026 budget cycle departmental submissions now open. I can just picture the global groan echoing.
Oh, you bet. And what follows is this amazing parade of departmental submissions, each one with its own unique, let's say, flavor, and some pretty ambitious aspirations.
I can only imagine. Okay, so kicking things off, we've got Mike from sales, the charismatic leader type, naturally.
Of course.
His submission includes a request for a global client acquisition summit. Like, with a budget so big, it kind of hints at plans to, what, buy a small island nation for everyone?
Something like that, yeah. It was like 90% aspirational sales targets.
Right.
And 10% very vaguely defined expenses.
Yeah.
Peter from MTH apparently had to step out muttering about needing coffee and a strong will to live.
Okay, but what's the real challenge there for MTH? Is it just the funny jargon, or is it something deeper about how departments even ask for things?
That's a really good point. It's not just Mike's dramatic flair.
Yeah.
So then you get Gary from IT.
IT.
Yeah. His requests were always wrapped in what the MTH team called vital yet incomprehensible technical necessity. Upgrading quantum entanglement servers, because render farm latency might increase by some tiny fraction of a millisecond.
Right. Sounds important, but...
Exactly. And their line item for miscellaneous cables and adapters, it could probably fund a small indie film on its own.
Wow.
And this really highlights that classic problem. Specialized departments often struggle to translate their needs, which are real but niche, into financial terms the finance team can actually grasp or justify.
It's a translation problem. Okay. And then on the flip side, you mentioned Olivia from operations.
Olivia. Hers was a masterpiece of granular budgeting, meticulous detail. Every screw, every ounce of cleaning fluid.
Down to the fluid?
Oh, yeah. They even had an emergency coffee fund, large-scale industrial brew, that, maybe not coincidentally, matched her department's entire travel budget.
Interesting. And post-production?
Post-production came in hot. Passionate pleas for global expansion into holographic content creation.
Holographic content. Okay.
A slightly bizarre request for at least 3 more full-time senior VFX artists and a dedicated emotional support llama.
A llama. For emotional support.
Apparently for particularly complex projects. So you've got this mix, right? Grand ambition from sales, deep tech from IT, micro detail from ops.
And llamas from post-production. How does MTH even begin to sort through that?
Well, that's the crux of it. For weeks, basically September 9th to October 11th, they were deep in departmental review and data entry.
Which isn't just typing numbers.
No way. It's chasing missing info, trying to read handwritten notes that look like, ancient hieroglyphs. and very gently pushing back on requests for, like, synergistic vibranium-infused office chairs.
Right. You have to ask.
You do. These daily huddle and hyperventilate sessions they had, they weren't just for checking data. They were basically essential for staying sane.
Okay, so that leads us to the great confluence. Mid-October arrives. The consolidated spreadsheet isn't just a doc anymore. It's this multi-halid hydra.
Exactly. Reflecting the clash between all those departmental dreams and the company's, well, stark financial targets.
This phase, consolidation and management review, sounds like where things get really tough.
It's where the rubber meets the road, absolutely. You see those extreme examples from earlier just magnified. Sales still wants a 400% increase for unquantifiable client relationship building.
Unquantifiable. Convenient.
And Amy's Quantum Leap initiative might actually involve purchasing a small data center on the moon, or so it seemed.
So the MTH office has this lovely job of turning that into a coherent story for management.
Yes. And it wasn't just compiling numbers, like you said earlier. It was crafting the budget narrative.
Right, using Emily's hidden talent for corporate euphemism, making things sound profound even if, well, they didn't mean much practically. What does that really tell us about how these places work?
It shows the budget isn't just numbers. It's a story, a crafted narrative. And understanding who tells that story and the language they use, that's key to understanding power dynamics, how financial reality gets constructed. The management review meetings themselves, intense, described as a polite form of corporate cage fighting.
Sounds fun.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Harrison, the finance director, a guy whose smile apparently rarely reached his eyes. He'd ask these chilling questions like, are we budgeting for growth or for spontaneous combustion of assets?
Oof, you knew you were in trouble if you asked that.
Definitely.
That sounds like walking an impossible tightrope. How do you even start to reconcile all these different viewpoints and demands in one plan? I guess that leads straight into the next phase. The arena of compromise?
It absolutely does. This is the gladiator arena phase. Think late November to early December. Departments fighting for their slice.
And everyone came armed with their own negotiation tactics, I bet.
Oh, yeah. Unique strategies.
Give us some examples. Mike from sales, his island buying summit budget got cut by 70%, right? I doubt he took that lying down.
Not a chance. Mike defaulted to emotional appeals, aggressive targets. Are we really putting a price on aggressive client acquisition, on market dominance, that sort of thing?
Okay. And Gary from IT.
Pure technical intimidation. Cutting a server upgrade would be like trying to run a Formula One race with a unicycle. He talked about cascading dependencies, lots of jargon.
Designed to make your eyes glaze over until you agree.
Pretty much.
And Olivia from operations, what was her angle?
Olivia's was interesting. Stoic acceptance at first, then immediately followed by these very precise, almost surgical explanations of exactly what would break if her budget was cut.
Like what?
She literally warned them that cutting cleaning supplies by just 2% would inevitably lead to a biohazard event in Q3.
A biohazard event? Okay, that's persuasive. It's a different kind of negotiation, isn't it?
It really is. All about concrete consequences.
And the MTH team, stuck in the middle of this whole circus, they must needed some serious skills just to survive these meetings.
They really developed them. Alex had his concerned but firm voice. Ben would bring out the irrefutable data. Chloe was always looking for synergies to magically shift funds around. Peter used these dry, cutting remarks to just end debates sometimes. And Emily, meanwhile, just furiously recalculating everything on the fly.
Wow.
It really shows you the huge human element in all of this. They often needed, like, unbudgeted coffee breaks just to calm everyone's nerves, including their own.
Okay, final hurdle then. The ascent to Olympus. The executive review and approval phase. December 9th to 20th. Sounds like a high-stakes performance review for the MTH office themselves.
That's a great way to put it, facing the gods of the corporate Olympus.
So you've got the CEO.
Yeah, speaking in grand metaphors about synergistic ecosystems and value creation paradigms.
Right. And the seasoned CFO.
Who could apparently sniff out an unbacked assumption from 3 boardrooms away. You couldn't slip much past her.
And the questions from the executive committee, I imagine they were all over the place.
Completely. Ranged from the really fundamental, like, why do we even have a budget?
Seriously, they asked that.
Oh, yeah. To the incredibly specific, what's the ROI on that specific type of stapler for the Singapore office?
You're kidding. The ROI on a stapler.
Not kidding. You had to be ready for anything.
And then came the final tweaks, I assume, just when they thought they were done.
Always. Last-minute mandates. We need a 200% increase in AI investment. Or cut travel by 15% across the board.
Which sends Emily's fingers flying again.
Exactly. Recalculating millions in seconds. Panic. Late nights. Stale pizza became a food group.
But finally, December 20th, 2025, budget approved, collective sigh of relief, probably audible across
A
continents.
huge sigh. But the journey wasn't quite over yet.
Oh.
Next up, the grand unveiling and system upload. December 23rd to 30th, basically tidying every single decimal point, getting the files ready for the Kraken.
It's Kraken.
The company's notoriously arcane financial system.
Ah, got it.
Ben was known as the Kraken Whisperer. He spent hours making sure every line item mapped correctly. Emily, meanwhile, meticulously double-checking everything, terrified a single typo could cause a multi-million-dollar error.
The pressure.
Immense.
Okay, so they did it. December 30th, just before the New Year's break. The 2026 budget is officially done. They must have felt victorious. Weary, but victorious.
They absolutely did. They had wrestled the beast and won. But then, the twist. The ultimate ironic twist.
Don't tell me.
The post-credits scene. January 2nd, 2026, the MTH office comes back to work, still maybe nursing holiday hangovers, but feeling pretty good, accomplished. Then, the email arrives from the CFO.
Oh, no.
Due to, wait for it, unforeseen shifts in the global economic landscape.
Where the CEO read a magazine article over break.
Or maybe that, yeah. Anyway, the point is that meticulously crafted 4-month-long budget already obsolete.
You cannot be serious. Obsolete after 4 months of that.
Obsolete, and the MTH office, tasked with creating a new, very detailed, top-down budget for 2026.
Let me guess the deadline.
2 days.
2 days.
2 days. And the requirement, no external departmental contributions allowed. They had to make all the assumptions themselves.
Wow. I can just picture the scene. Alex freezing, hand halfway to his coffee mug, Ben dropping his pen holder, Peter just putting his head on his desk.
And Emily, for the first time ever, looking like she might actually cry.
Yeah.
4 months of intense work. Dismissed in an email.
It's almost like, didn't someone famous say this whole traditional process was fundamentally flawed? Jack Welch, maybe. GE guy. Didn't he have a lot to say about budgeting?
He certainly did, and this is exactly where the wisdom, or maybe the critique of Jack Welch becomes incredibly relevant.
Yeah.
His views on traditional budgeting must have just echoed in that silent MTH office. It turned their recent, purgatory into this bitter truth that hit really close to home.
What's so striking is how perfectly Welch's criticisms map onto what the MTH team just endured. He called it a painful ritual, a charade. Said it consumed inordinate time and energy, time that could be spent on, actual strategy, market shifts, innovation.
Exactly. 4 months of effort wiped out by January 2nd. That's precisely the kind of bureaucratic inertia Welch railed against.
He also thought it was demotivating, right? Encouraged sandbagging.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Departments underestimating what they could do, asking for more resources than they really needed, just to make sure they hit their targets.
Like sales, with their initial crazy demands, everyone knew the real number would be lower, so why not start sky high?
Right. It wasn't about genuine ambition. It was about playing the game, minimizing personal risk.
And it definitely fuels that internal gamesmanship, turning colleagues into rivals, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. That gladiator arena phase, where departments fought tooth and nail for their piece of a fixed pie. Prime example. It's a zero-sum game that can really stifle collaboration.
And maybe the biggest point Welch made. Budgets become rigid straitjackets almost instantly. They lose relevance so fast in a dynamic world.
Totally. A budget finalized in December is probably out of date by March, if not sooner. That January 2nd email, declaring the whole thing obsolete because of unforeseen shifts. Perfect illustration. All that bottom-up detail, instantly irrelevant.
Welch wasn't just criticizing, though. He pushed for something more fluid, didn't he? Adaptive.
He did. He advocated for things like rolling forecasts, stretch goals, trying to build in agility, continuous improvement. He wanted companies reacting to the market, not locked into an old document.
And for the MTH team, hearing those ideas or thinking about them, it wasn't just abstract management theory, was it?
Not at all. It was a chillingly accurate summary of the hell they'd just been through.
The budget for them wasn't just a process. It really was that perpetual state of being, that Sisyphean task, pushing the rock up the hill.
Only for it to roll right back down again,
Right.
demanding to be pushed all over again.
And that, for our heroes in the MTH office, is the unending cycle. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If traditional budgeting is this painful ritual that maybe stifles agility and innovation, what does a truly effective, forward-looking financial planning process even look like today?
Yeah, in this rapidly changing world we're in, How can organizations actually escape this Groundhog Day scenario?
Or is it just an unavoidable part of corporate life we all have to endure? Something to think about.